I'd say he died tearing up my sign. Hello everybody, my name is Claire Van Steenwyk, better known as Van the Radio Man on my Van's Crossroads show. I want to talk to you a little bit today about what's really going on in America with our elections and the rioting and everything else, as I've watched it and watched it and watched it. A couple of days ago when I was out taking my morning walk, when I came around the corner by my home, a sign I had put there and had been there for a couple of weeks already had been, we'll call it molested, as you can see. As anybody knows, this is not how a sign is supposed to look, and this is after I straightened it out. This is Jim O'Connor and then Donald Trump on top. And they had bent this thing up in about 3 different positions. That was bad enough. But I also got a mailer in the mail from the Biden campaign on, "We will build back better." I don't know what in the world Mr. Biden thinks he's going to build back. Since in 47 years in office, he's never built anything. In his personal life, the only thing that man has ever built is making a lot of money for his family in what are really questionable business deals done because his father was a vice president and even a senator at one time, as we all know. However, when you look at the overall campaigning that's going on, and Biden hiding in a basement or stopping off at a train station where there's only 7 people to talk to, which is not hard to understand once you listen to him talk for a little while. When you really start observing what's going on here, with the riots in the streets, cities burning, people being murdered, everything else that you can think of that's happening, you reflect on what is really going on. Just some people wouldn't think bent-up signs are a big deal, but about 6/10 of a mile from my house is a 4x8 sign of President Trump. Somebody sprayed over the stars and put a circle with an X over his name. Now, think about that. Just give that some thought in history for those of you who've ever really enjoyed history. Go back to the 30s when you had Mussolini in Italy, you had Stalin in Russia, you had the Emperor in Japan with Hirohito, then you had, of course, the star of the group, Hitler in Germany. He started out with his stormtroopers and the brown shirts. And now we have people, as I said before, doing this kind of thing. And this isn't the first time they've done this. Over the years, some of you know I've run for office a couple of times. We've had our signs defaced, spray painted, cut in half, ripped apart by these same type of people. Now, these aren't children doing pranks. This didn't happen down in Tucson. It didn't happen in the center of Phoenix, where you have a lot of Democrats living. This happened in what most people consider the beltway of Republican politics in Arizona, in Congressional District 8, LD 22, on my property and down the street from it, in Sun City West, a senior community. So we had what I call a blue shirt, and when I say blue, I would think, people think of the sky. I look at it more like the skies over Peking that are always gray and depressing. That's what's going on here. They're trying to stifle free speech, because I've given out signs to people, and a lot of people are reluctant to take signs because of the fear. They're afraid their neighbor may say something, a kid may not come to dinner, somebody else will argue with them, they'll be labeled a crazy Trump person or whatever. This is what free speech is about. And anybody who tries to inflict their attitude on my free speech is barking up the wrong tree. I won't have it, because you see, I replaced that sign within hours of it being defaced. Now, I know the person that did this didn't do it in the light of day, and they didn't do it much before 10 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. They did it in that 8-hour time zone, because I know they don't want to be seen by anybody. They more than likely were driving a golf cart. But think of it, in a quiet community like Sun City West, this is going on. We've had a couple of other signs messed up there. This is bully politics. This is how they want to discourage people from having a voice. Whoever this person is, if I ever catch them doing this again, I will have them arrested and tried. And then I will take them to civil court and sue them for violating my First Amendment rights. I want to talk to you as Americans, not as Republicans, not as Democrats, not as libertarians, not as green people, not as independents, Americans. We are all granted. We have a God-granted right as U.S. citizens to vote. Any infringement on that violates my constitutional rights and yours. And it's time all of you start exercising them. You see, 244 years ago when our country started, it took only a third of the people to stand up for freedom, and we got it. I'm looking for those people to stand up now for our freedoms, because we're losing them. We're losing them to the blue shirts, to the Antifa groups, to the Black Lives Matter people, and every other anarchist you can think of that's come to America to decide it's time for us to be socialists. Say like Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, Venezuela, Cuba. Is that what you really want? Are you so afraid to stand up for your rights that you'll allow our country to sink into socialism and then communism? Because trust me, once we go there, we're never coming back. Once they take power, they don't give it up. Even in Russia, Russia's so-called fail, well, now Putin runs it. And it's still a dictatorship. That's what it is. I don't want that here. We've lost hundreds of thousands of American citizens who fought to make us free and to keep us that way. And it's time all Americans now start standing up for what they know is true. You pledge allegiance to the flag, one nation under God. They took God out of schools. They want God out of everything else because these people don't believe in God. These people are evil. They are evil. And the person that did that to those signs is evil, period. Evil. Evil is trying to take itself and run goodness. We can't let that happen. So I'm asking all of you, take part in this election. Make sure these things don't happen. It's time that the rest of us start fighting with Donald Trump, who actually was a soldier for all of us, because he's been fighting our fight. Because too many people for too many years have sat silently. They keep talking about the silent majority. Well, you know what? It's time for that lion to roar. It's time for you to wake up. It's kind of like they said in Japan, once they bombed Pearl Harbor, we've now woken up a sleeping giant. Well, you know what? They found out we were awake because then we bombed Japan shortly after that. So I'm asking all of you now to wake up, get signs, put them in your yards, stickers on your car, and tell your neighbors, I'm an American and no one's taken my rights away from me. No one. Not you, not Biden, not the Democrats, not Antifa, not Black Lives Matter, or any other bigot in this country, because that's what they are. The real bigots are in their party. I invite all of you to join me in this battle, because if we don't fight back, we're going to lose our freedom, our children's freedom, our grandchildren's freedom, and all generations coming. So please, stand up and fight now while we are still able to. God bless you and thank you for listening in. Have a good day. Bye for now.